Hello everyone, this is Cool Dre once again here. How are you doing? So anyway, I'm in Lille, France, or Lille, I don't know how I pronounce it. Doing a terrible job as a host here. But yes, I'm in the Grand Place here and part of the center of town of Lille here. And again, this is just a spot where, it's like an old town area, you can meet. And we'll go ahead and do a fade out here. But yeah, so this is basically the Grand Place. Place to meet up with friends. First dates, second dates, stuff like that. But yeah, you have like this, right now it's a Monday morning. It's about 10:30 a.m. local time, summertime, June 1st actually, 2026. So it's not hot, intensely hot yet. It was a little cool this morning, weather-wise, just to give you some context. I've been in France for about 2 weeks now. I started my journey at going to the Cannes Film Festival and staying there for about 5 days, and then I transitioned to the Czech Republic, and I was there for about 4 days, and then at Paris, and now I'm in Lille. And just for today, I'm going to go back to Paris today, and then leave tomorrow, and who knows where my destination will be. But I have a feeling I would love to pay a visit to Dunkirk. It's not too far from here. It looks like it's about maybe an hour or two, if any. The thing is my timing was wrong with this. I didn't really plan out like I normally do. It was more like a last minute thing. I wasn't gonna go make my trip to Europe, but I wanted to just kind of get out of Los Angeles and just, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, I just wanted to just kind of LA can be a draining place, and just to kind of the state of affairs that's been going on, and on a local level there, and even on a national level, it just becomes exhausting after a while. So I just need a place where I can just kind of start and just take a breath, So Europe is just that place for me, for me. Now for you, it could be anything else. It could be like, going in the woods. It could be going to your happy place. That just brings me to one of my favorite movies, Billy Madison, your happy place, It could be your man cave, if you're a guy, you're working all day, you want somewhere to chill, Or it could be video games, whatever your man cave is, Or if you're a lady, just whatever floats your boat. It could be shopping, it could be reading a book, it could be crafting, it could be journaling, it could be whatever. But for me, it's travel, and for me, it's always Europe most of the time. Japan is slowly approaching that too, but I haven't spent enough time in Japan to really compare it, a lot, But I know Europe more than Japan, just from my own perspectives and personal observations. So anyway, yes, this is the Grand Place, excuse me. And yeah, again, just looking at this architecture now. We can compare and contrast the architecture from the Czech Republic to here, to French architecture. It's basically similar. You can see some difference. I remember I was pointing the camera towards, I was in Prague, I think it was Prague 1, Old Town Prague, and which is not too far from the Charles Bridge and all that stuff, But yeah, but it's overall similar. I mean, maybe some other nuances and differences here. All right, well anyway, I'm just kind of going on the fly with this, and let's go ahead and take a look what's down here. Okay, so just walking back from our little meetup place down there, the Grand Place, the Grand area, I think it's called. And yeah, so just walking a few meters down here, you have the Hotel Charlton, you have the Opera de Lille, and you have the Chamber of Commerce here. It has that Big Ben look to it there. And yeah, I guess this could be another meetup place too. It kind of reminds me of a place if you want to protest something, or you want to go on strike. This is the place to actually do it, because it's so bare. Looks like it would hold plenty of people, and it's just one of those places there. Well, look at that, it's nice. Now Lille, just to give you some context, Lille is kind of northwest France. It's kind of near Belgium. So I guess from Belgium to Brussels or something, you want to take a train or a bus, it's not that far, probably about an hour maybe. It's a little cooler out here. I mean, the sun is out, but this is north, and the ocean is not too far. Well, I would say, was it the English Channel? I don't know. My biology's probably off here. What biology? My geography is probably off. But anyway, it's water, and it's already a little windy, and it's cooler. It's not as hot like it was yesterday in Paris or Prague, the last couple of days. So I like the little wind breeze here. So yeah, you're not too far. So this is actually a sweet spot, Lille. You're about, by train, you're about an hour away from Paris. You're about an hour away from Brussels. You're not too far from the Netherlands either. So this is like a sweet spot. And Lille is not a big town, it's a small town. I mean, you do have a train station here, I think, and I think you have a metro station here too. I haven't seen any trams yet. They might have trams, I don't think so, but I think they have an underground metro. I don't know, I'll find out later, I guess. But it's one of those like big small towns, I like to say. It's like a big town, but at the same time it's like a small town too, compared to like Paris or even Prague. It kind of reminds, maybe the size of, maybe bigger than Kutná in the Czech Republic. Not as massive as this with all the buildings and stuff, If you do remember, I was there at the Bone Chapel, and I was there at the Santa Barbara Church there. So yeah. And I like seeing those green crosses there. It means that's the chemist, what they call them in the UK, the chemist. It means like where you get any, like back home, like if you need to get medicine or cough syrup or something, or throat lozenges for your throat. So like that's where you get, they have, it's separate, It's not like back home where you go to a CVS or something, or even Walmart, and it's just separate, which I like, And and it depends. And I think it's just a European thing too. Anything with the green cross means medicine and all that. You know where to go. So anyway, this is it. I might just take a little stroll here and just kind of wander off the beaten path here. Okay, everyone. Oh, here we go. So here's my question. Metro. The sign here. So this is, we got the tourist office, metro. Okay. So we'll find out. I'll find out in a little bit. So anyway, that's it for now. Bye-bye. All right. So I have no idea what this place is called, but I have a feeling it's a church. So just doing this on the fly here. I think I might just put like a description when I finally edit this and find out for sure. But yeah, it looks cool. It kind of reminds me, what does it remind me of? Yeah, it has I like that look to it. It's cool. Like look at the top, even the colors. It kind of reminds me like something you would see on an episode of Wednesday. Tim Burton's what he's producing and directing. I think I don't watch the show a lot. I watched like maybe one or two episodes on Netflix. But yeah, this would be the ideal setting here. And spoiler alert, that show is shot in Romania. And I went to a seminar where I actually got to not meet the DP, but he did a presentation of how they lit a few scenes and everything. And that was from Cinegear last year. I think it was at Paramount or Warner Brothers, I forget. But it's an annual meetup for if you're like a cinematographer, if you're basically a filmmaker and you're really into lighting and grip gear and cameras and all that stuff. It's a cool place to go and just kind of see different gear every year. And they usually have it in New York City, they have it in LA, they have it I think in Atlanta too, and I think New Orleans, but I think the main two is mostly LA and New York and Atlanta. That's the three that I know of. But yeah, that was cool. And sometimes they'll have presentations, and it's good for I think when I was there for a while, they would have free energy drinks, so I would just get all these monster drinks for a while and be all crazy all day back in the day. But I'm older, I can't drink that stuff anymore. But yeah. But anyway, sorry to fall on a tangent there, side tangent. But getting back to Lille here. So this is what we have. What a cute little area here. I'm kind of liking Lille. It's not too big, not too small. I like it. And then even the buses are small. Look at the size of the buses. They're so tiny, But I see the M there, so that means maybe there's an underground metro. Maybe I'll explore that. But so far, I've been walking, just been walking around and just kind of just going with my gut here, So let me go ahead and point the camera towards me here. So So yeah, everybody. So that's it for now. You know, I'm just gonna keep wandering around and doing little updates and stuff, and just kind of discovering things that I you know will just see for the first time here. But so far so good. You know, I'm liking Lille. You know, I may have to come back. It's one of these cities I'll have to come back again and just kind of do thorough research and be extra prepared. My apologies, I'm not really prepared. But you know, sometimes you just have to just let loose after a while and just, you know, just go on the fly and just don't be on a schedule so much. But it's hard for me to do that because I'm usually make a schedule. But sometimes you just kind of let loose and just kind of like, let the chips fall where they be, you know. So yeah, that's it for now, and that's it. Bye bye. Okay, so to answer my question here, yes, there is a grand, massive metro network here in Lille. So I am here right here, center of town, and this is also the M1 station here too. One of the M1 network, so it's the yellow. So I guess everything that's yellow in the thick, bold, the thick lines there. So yeah, you have quite a network here, and yeah, that's a good sign, you know. The more metro, the more efficient your travel will be without spending too much money on gas and fuel and petrol and all that stuff. So really great, really great. I probably won't be taking the metro. I'm just going to be just walking around, you know, try to figure it out on my own, you know. If I have to, I mean, I will take the metro, but I feel like I don't need to take the metro unless I'm going somewhere specifically. But I'm just concentrating mostly on the downtown area and the center, Old Town area too. So that's it. That's all. Okay, so I think this is one of like 2 or 3 Lille train stations, like the main ones, you know. I took a Flixbus up here, and I thought this was the same one, but I think it's a different one. So I think there's actually like 2 Gare de Lille, you know, Gare de Lille. I'm gonna get roasted on the comments, but I don't care. Yeah, but just to give you context, you know, I'm right in the center. You know, you're pretty much in the center here, and I like that yellow. I think it's a sculpture, or maybe it's a plastic thing. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, you're right here. You got bicycles here for rent. So you have, see what you can do here. Solid green bip, bikes rental over. Okay, so you can rent it, I guess, by the hour, maybe by the minute. I'm not sure. And I've never used this before, but maybe I will one day, you know. Because as you can see, what I'm noticing the trend here, you know, traveling to Denmark in the past and going to like Sweden and the Scandinavian countries, and you're kind of starting to see that bicycle influence, you know, even with Belgium, you know. And I remember when I was in Denmark for the first time, or even the Netherlands, excuse me, you're kind of getting to the bicycle territories where bicyclists have more rights than you do. So basically, I think in the Netherlands, like if you know, you don't know, and you just happen to be walking in the bike lane, and the bike hits you, then you'll get in trouble instead of the bicyclist. And somehow they have it where the person riding the bicycle will get compensated, and you'll probably get, you know, sued, or you probably, you know, basically it'll be the opposite. So it'd be opposite of someone hitting you. You know, the person's obviously gonna get in trouble, but no, that doesn't work in the Netherlands. I believe it's the opposite. So be aware of whenever you're in the Netherlands or Denmark or Belgium, just be aware. Bicyclists have more rights than you do. You know, just like if you're from the South or from New Orleans or from Louisiana, alligators have more rights than you do, or Florida, I don't remember. So just keep that in mind, everybody. And because, you know, it's happened to me where I'm, you know, mistakenly walking on a bike lane. You see these army of bicyclists just coming down, and they're not stopping either. They're just going. So just keep that aware. But I see the trend of the growing bicycles here. So anyway, it's a good thing, you know, pollution and green energy and all that. So if I'm gonna cross the street, but wait till it turns green here instead of the red here, you know. Now I could cross now. Oh, sorry, pardon. And but I think I'm just gonna. Maybe I will. We'll do it. We'll take the risk. Oh, it just turned green, so that's amazing. So do that. I hope I didn't get pickpocketed there. She rubbed up against me, so. But luckily, there's nothing in my pockets, so which is amazing. Okay. Under the overpass here, and there is the center area there. So yeah, and coming up over here. So it tells you right here, this is the train station, go in that direction. I think it's the same train station. I don't think it's just one. I think it's just one train station for Lille. But yeah, this is like an open area. I guess you can kind of hang out here and play and do all that stuff. And there's a park right there. You can just lay out in the sun, have a picnic, all that good stuff. And then I noticed from afar, there's a dedicated bike lane for bicycles. Because I saw people on their scooters or with kids and stuff. So yeah, and this looks like a place looks like they'll have like outdoor concerts. You can just tell, right offhand. Pigeons there. The Westfield, yeah, I'm surprised to see that out here because, I know the name Westfield because back home in California, it's called Westfield Shopping Center, Century City, and also in the valley too, like Woodland Hills. So yeah, I guess it's like a worldwide thing here. So I'm gonna check. Oh, there's also Burger King too. So when you got the hankering, let's say you're from the state, the hankering, man. I'll tell you what, man. I grew up in the South, and I grew up on fast food. I grew up on grease for the most part, and you just get the hankering. So same thing. They got a Popeye, they got like a McDonald's, of course. You got that hankering, fried food. And after a while, Slavic food's great, French food is great, but you get that hankering, for the home style stuff. But it's served differently here, because I know like the Popeyes, back home you get like a bucket of chicken and biscuits and all that stuff. It's not quite like that out here. It's more like sandwiches, you get like in wraps. So you get like a chicken wrap, or you get like maybe 2 drumsticks, at the most, and like chicken fingers and chicken strips. It's not like chicken, like a thigh or a wing or like what you're used to back in the United States or in the deep South, let's say, like south of the United States. So anyway, just bring that. So let's say you're from like Alabama or something. You've got a hankering for chicken, and you eat KFC or you eat a Popeye. Well, you'll be disappointed. Mostly sandwiches and burgers and all that too. It's a different take on the whole fast food thing here, which I like. That's what makes your film amazing to me. Yeah, that's that. I don't know what this place is. I think it's up in the mall still. The Westfield Mall. And I think the actual train station where I came when I arrived here is on the other side. So this isn't looking really well. Look at that architecture, 3, 2, 1, and action. Hey, greetings everybody. So I've just been walking around Lille here, and this part is away from like the city center and the tourist areas. So this is about a good 17-minute walk, I would say. It's not too many people here. It kind of reminds me of residential areas like, think Upper West Side, New York City, or even parts of Paris. It's just kind of more residential, quiet, not as noisy and chaotic and stuff like that. People walking their dogs. So I kind of compare it to the Upper West Side of New York City, because that's the neighborhood I'm most familiar with. And even in LA, this kind of reminds me of like maybe the Miracle Mile area, Mid-Wilshire area, in a way. Even Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, some parts, Anytime, that's the Golden Roof. You see people walking their dogs, especially women, young, attractive women, then it's a good idea. It's pretty safe, So I've seen old women, grandmas, doing this. So anyway, I'm here, and let me see. This is the Charles de Gaulle monument here, and there you go. Let's see. This is Jamais la Fortune. I'm not gonna even pronounce it. I'm just gonna butcher it. So yeah, pretty cool. You hear a bird chirping there. So I'm on my way to find there's a monument with the carrier pigeons in World War I, carrier pigeons. So I'm trying to find that. I think I'm only like a good 10 minutes away walking. So I'm gonna come back and try. I'm gonna come back when I find it. Bye-bye. Okay, so this is the monument of the carrier pigeons there. So you can see the pigeons on the statue behind the lady there, and then the serpent and the shield right there, and then the soldiers right there. So just kind of glancing over, there's like 20,000 pigeons that gave their lives during World War I to help out the French army, French military. And I'll go ahead and more in depth with this in just a moment. I thought that was a pretty good read about the monument of the carrier pigeons that served France during World War One, and that basically sacrificed their lives. And I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, everyone. So I'm just kind of chilling right here for now. Little ice cream, little shop there, get something to drink, and this is another park right here, and they have boats, so you can actually, ride the boats down the river there. And the monument, the pigeon monument's right over there. So I had to leave. I was filming, and then all out of nowhere, these cops just pull up in their van, and I'm like, oh great, they're gonna arrest me for taking photos. And again with the photos, but they didn't. They just parked there, and I'm like, okay. So, but I bolted out of there. I wasn't about to ask questions. So anyway, like I was trying to say earlier, is Lille seems like a great place for like a first date. And the thing is, that's what I like about France in general. I guess that's why they call it the city for lovers, Paris, because it's just like, it's a romantic like area, Like look at this, there's like so much. This would be like a first date, like a typical date. Like imagine just calling up your girlfriend and be like, hey, let's meet up, let's go out. You go to you take a stroll, it's nice and quiet, there's trees, you can ride the little boats here, you get like a little snack to get something to eat, and you're walking around, just kind of just taking it all in, man, Or you can even bring a picnic lunch and just chill, That's just what I like about Europe and dating and all, pretty much as a guy, because it's like romantic and it's so easy, it's not complicated, man, Okay, so this is what it looks like here. So you got some ducks here, you got like the river, you got this right here, you have little boats, and that kind of reminds me of like Silver Lake. I mean, excuse me, not Silver Lake, Echo Park, that lake, Echo Park Lake, where you have the lake and you have like the little swan, little boats you can pedal, and steer. And also too, you have like, all this stuff here. You got these amazing trees here, people biking and stuff. Yeah, but let's see. This is what I like about France in general. It's just like, it's like easy to like, I guess that's why, I don't know, I guess Paris, the city of love, it's just like, it's just so easy to date here. It's like, I don't know, I'm talking from a guy's perspective here, because we're the ones that are out asking, and approaching women, nowadays at least. Well, some of us are. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, this is like so easy to like take a date here, walk around, get like a little ice cream, and walk and talk, and that's like a perfect date, and it's not expensive. That's what I would do if I was dating someone, which I'm currently not. I'm single, everybody. Single for a while, but I haven't really been trying though, But anyway, that's another story. I'm not going to dive into that, but just saying, like, it's just easier, I mean, you will have, there's something to do. Like if you want to take, let's say you're already dating and you want to take your girl out on a date, this is a perfect date, this is a perfect first date, now there are some women that wouldn't even consider this a date, nowadays in 2026. So, but anyway, I'll continue with that later. So now, this is just my opinion. Now think about this. Now think about dating in America, for all the guys watching, First of all, there's not even women who would even do this. They'll just think that you're just being cheap and you're not worth their time and all that stuff. And I don't have to tell you, there's a ton of like social media out there, women that are just, they just think they're just better than you. They think they deserve the absolute best, and they want to take, if you take them to like a average restaurant like Applebee's or just anything that's not within her terms, then you're not a good catch. You're being a cheapskate and you're not worth it, and you'll just get a first date and that's it, and then you're out of like what, $100, So that's just the reality of it. So if this wouldn't fly in like New York City or even LA or the big metro areas, even the medium metro areas. Now maybe small towns, maybe like places away from like, big metro towns like San Francisco and stuff like that. I don't know. If this was Central Park in New York, yes, maybe, But the thing is, like, I lived in New York City, and this was like 20 years ago, and women at the time were just demanding back then, before social media, and it was hard to date. That women wouldn't even look at you if you weren't a doctor or a lawyer, or if you weren't working on Wall Street. That was the big one. Or if you were in school You know, if you were in like Columbia University or NYU, you know, studying to become one of those professions, they wouldn't want to look at you. Or if you were just like, you know, a local celebrity, or, you know, some big shot actor on Broadway, or just something of means, they wouldn't even want to look at you, you know. So it's like, if you weren't studying to become those professions, or you weren't in those professions, or you weren't even like, if you just weren't a professional, you know, they didn't want to look at you. And this was in 2004 to 2006, man. So times have changed, and I'm sure 20 years later, it's those same women are in their 40s, and they're just either still single, or they're still trying to hold out for the best guy, because a lot of women they're just holding out, you know, they're holding out for the best catch, you know. So either some of those women are, you know, maybe they got married, or they, you know, who knows what they're doing. So anyway, that's just my opinion. You can take it as you will, you know. So anyway, I'm just here enjoying it, just taking it all in. I'm gonna head back to the bus station in just a little bit. It's about 20-minute walk, so just chilling, you know, relaxing, taking it all in, etc., etc. But like I'm saying, yeah, I mean, you really don't need a lot of money to go on dates nowadays, you know. And now I mean, I'm almost, you know, I'm in my late 40s. I've been there, done that. And it's like, you know, a girl will just like you for you overall, you know. Now, I'm not saying every girl's bad in America and every woman is bad and all that, but just nowadays we're in a different time, a different generation. And, you know, we're in a generation now where if you just look at a woman the wrong way, you could go to jail. You know, any lawyer would tell you that. Depending on what jurisdiction you're in, you could go to jail, or you could be, you know, you could be like fired from your job and all that stuff, you know. So anyway, that's just me. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and I think I'm gonna just go ahead and stop right now and maybe just start heading back, maybe grab something to drink, and yeah, that's it. So anyway, let me just keep walking. I'm gonna walk back to the main path here, and then I'll take one last glimpse of the monument of the carrier pigeons, those poor carrier pigeons that sacrificed their lives, 20,000 of them during World War I. And yeah, I just learned a lot about carrier pigeons. I was just kind of reading up on it a little bit, and I'll provide a link so you can click on it and take a look for yourself. And yeah, it's just, yeah, you just don't think about pigeons. You look at pigeons and are like, oh, it's so annoying, you know. But no, pigeons, you train them, you know, and they carry messages. That's the word, messages and stuff. You know, you tie it to the little legs, you know, like you see in movies and cartoons and stuff. And yeah, pigeon has a job, you know. So that's that, you know. And for some reason, it seems like everybody's out today, you know. It's like I want to film, but it's like there's a lot of people out. And I don't know if it's like a Lille thing. This is just like a Monday, you know. I don't know if today's a holiday or what, but it seems like everybody and their uncle's out today. You know, I mean, imagine if this was Saturday, you know.